So we are reading At the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Rape and Resistance, A New History of the Civil Rights Movement from Rosa Parks to the Rise of Black Power by Danielle McGuire. And our sessions it started June 3rd and they last until July 29th. They are from 6:30 to 8.
So number 5 says, on June 6, 1963, Dorothy Height, president of the National Council of Negro Women, NCNW, and Jean Noble, president of Delta Sigma Theta, went on the popular New York City radio station WNEW to announce an exclusive report documenting the first-hand accounts of brutality and sexual abuse of civil rights activists demonstrating in the South. They spoke of the Freedom Riders who came to Jackson, Mississippi in the summer of 1961, who were arrested and held in the most feared prison in the South, Parchman Penitentiary. Herded with cattle prods into exam rooms, men and women were ordered to strip naked for thorough body searches. Prison guards used gloves dipped in Lysol to conduct rough, painful vaginal searches on the women in the group. Bessie Turner of Clarksdale, Mississippi, told SNCC officials about her false arrest and vicious flogging, including being made to pull off her underwear and expose herself to the officer. He took a leather strap and hit her between her legs and made her expose her breasts. It was dangerous to organize in rural areas. Black and white female activists were raped by attendants in Mississippi jails. The jails in southwestern Georgia were considered the worst. Black women and men were in constant danger of sexual abuse and humiliation at the hands of Southern police and prison officials. The Medical Community for Human Rights, who provided medical assistance during Freedom Summer, issued a report documenting the extreme sexual brutality of the police against the activists in Jackson, Mississippi, where men's testicles were hit with clubs, women's dresses pulled up, breasts fondled, and vaginal exams given in front of an oogling audience. On October 4th, 1963, Dorothy Height, Shirley Smith of the National Women's Committee for Civil Rights, Polly Cohen of the Citizens Committee for Children in New York, and Dr. Dorothy Farabee of Howard University flew to Selma, Alabama to hear the testimonies of 65 young women who had been brutalized, threatened, and sexually assaulted in a Dallas County jail. Exposing these atrocities was the one thing these women's organizations could do as women, use their institutional voices as weapons in the war against white supremacy. And the question for this section is, sexual violence against women and children never seems to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Do you think there are elements of white supremacy that remain in operation in the justice system, and what, if anything, could remedy that? Okay.
Benita, I just sent notes to your email account. You heard me?
Yes, I think I have them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I definitely have them in front of me.
Is there white supremacy? Okay.
I have them.
Is there white supremacy in the justice system, huh? Oh, no.
Well.
Oh, no, of course not. No, I mean, it's riddled. It's riddled with white supremacy. I guess really the harder question is what can be done about it. I don't know. Let me read the question again.
Okay, sure.
Sexual violence against women and children never seems to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Do you think there are elements of white supremacy that remain in operation in the justice system, and what, if anything, could remedy that. Um, yes, definitely. There's white supremacy, as well as elements of patriarchy, I would say. Um, and in the case of white supremacy, um, what we have seen really throughout this book um, is the belief on the part of white people that that black women are less than human beings, and really you can't rape them. We're such whores and prostitutes and um, Jezebels and all of that we just love sex so much um, that we can't be raped, and that no matter I hesitated because I was thinking about the story that we read. Um, was it this chapter? I don't remember if it was this chapter or the prior chapter, where the old white man, where the wife
Yes, it's this
took the
chapter. Yes.
child up to the old. In this chapter, took the child up to the old man's bedroom. Little girl said Mr. So and so wants to wish you a happy birthday, and she left the child there and went back downstairs. And the little girl talked about his pasty old thing, which you can just
Hmm.
imagine what a disgusting sight that must have been.
Yes.
And and he proceeded to rape her. And I think he's one of the ones that was asking her, "Don't you like it? Didn't you like it?" Is that right, Georgette, or I may be
Yes.
mixing up stories?
No, you
So,
are so correct. And when I read, and it was the way the author placed that anecdote in the story, it was it was really raw in comparison to the young lady describing how she had empowered herself by joining the movement. But whoa, how does a
yeah,
person overcome at 11 years old? She, what, the wife uh, brought her over to babysit the granddaughter or whatever, the grandchild, and then
yes,
you are abused. So the wife is working hand in hand with her husband
yes,
to dehumanize this child,
yes,
as a sexual object. And then I
yeah,
think when when they gave the little girl $5, right? uh,
yes,
and then she's walking out of the door, and the wife looks at her, and she's looking at the wife, and she knows she's
right,
wrong.
right, right.
You see?
But wait a minute, Anita. Hello, Joel and Labib. I'm glad you got in.
Hey.
Um, but I just want to restate the point that that wife could participate in that activity, and that nasty old man could participate in that activity because they had a genuine belief and have a genuine belief that black women and black girls cannot be raped, that we're not truly human beings experiencing pain in the same way that other human beings do. We're on the question right now, Joel and Labib, of whether or not there is continuing white supremacy in the justice system, and what can be done about it, on page 3.
Okay.
Um, so, and I was making the point that, yes, obviously there continues to be white supremacy as well as patriarchy, and that is why cases of rape generally don't get prosecuted in the way that they should. Um, so I think I'll stop there, Georgette.
Okay. Would anybody else like to? chime in on this question?
Oh, yeah, I was looking at that question a little bit earlier, and of course it's, white supremacy uh, is a part of it, but a lot of economics has a lot to do with it as well. Um, it kind of goes, way back to, the war on. They were talking about a big discussion going on today. I don't know the name of the organization out in Los Angeles, the largest Hispanic activist group they have in their convention out there this week, and they put a statistic on the board that talked about minorities that were arrested by the ATF had targeted 91% of all their arrests is minorities. And I have a book here called Critical Issues in Crime and Justice, which says that even when women are being arrested for the same thing as men that's being arrested, they go in and they're arrested at a higher rate, which we often felt that it was a lot less. But the name of the book I said is called Critical Issues in Crime and Justice. So I think the gender factor and most definitely the social economic, the person being poor has a lot to do with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very powerful points.
Vanita, you were going to say something before I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I just when I read that section in the chapter, it actually brought me to tears. I just started to cry. I couldn't even read anymore. It was just sickening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these things happen all the time. It is not a new revelation, but it just never. I felt so sick inside.
Mhm.
Because that's somebody's child. That could have been my daughter if I had one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was just so sick. I was just so sick about that. I don't know. You really have to try to collect yourself because you can start thinking a lot of craziness. It brings out so much emotion in you when you read and hear about those things. So I just get too emotional. It's not good for me. I start thinking all kinds of craziness.
Oh.
It just makes it hurt so bad. It just hurts.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we talk all the time about black people are asleep. Everybody's asleep, really, but to the extent that our concern is black people, so many of us are asleep. But we are asleep for all kinds of reasons. But one of the things is we are not allowing ourselves to feel the depth of emotion that I believe we need to be feeling about our history and our present situation.